This time on Kustom Works, we're going to be looking at the meat wagon roof, seeing if we can get that right on the second go. It's going to get dusty. Let's get to the workshop. Mark II meat wagon roof is looking a lot better than Mark I. It's already on the ramp. Let's get it on. Let's drop it on the meat wagon and see if we've got it somewhere near right this time. Okay then, so the roof's on. It's still looking really rough, but there's a long way to go yet. We're going to have this name sign at the front, some running lights. Obviously we've got to trim all the excess fibreglass off, but it's getting there. Now it's up on the van for today. If it doesn't rain, I'll be able to just get all those lines dialed in, get everything right, everything square to the van, and then I'll be able to take it in the workshop, body work it all, get it all good. But I will have those datum points that I can see that's all looking good. Not quite looking right at the front yet, but round the side. So from the side view, it's looking pretty good. I'm quite happy with this back. You know, there's a lot more going on that's going to happen just there, so that's not looking too bad. The front is still a bit sort of wild, but with what we're going to do with this signage on the front and stuff like that, I quite like the flow of the roof as it comes over. I genuinely think it's getting there. However, it is not yet perfect, and there's a long way to go. And things like this, little trim here, trim there, the way it fits a little bit better, in the end we do get it. But as far as if I was trying to build a late 1950s sort of 60s bus, like that big GM thing that they did on bitching rides that time, you know, if I was going for that, I don't think I'm doing too bad. I think I'm definitely, for the first time in quite a while with this roof, on the right track. Okay then, so my job today, make this front look a bit better, get a little bit more shape to it, get it looking a bit cooler, and also trim all the stuff off that we just don't need. Been doing a bit on the meat wagon, trying to make it, trying to give it that, it's a weird thing. It's somewhere between cool and really ugly, but this sort of thing, just like, I know when you slam an old bus or something like that, ugly is sort of part of it, but with some nice lines. So let's have a look round. I warn you now, there's going to be masking tape, there's going to be expanding foam. I am sound of mind, this isn't a cry for help. Let's have a look at the van. So what I've done here is with a piece of dye bond and some alley and some expanding foam, I've just sort of roughed out the shape of where like the nameplate for the van will be. Obviously this will all be fiberglassed over, you know, like I always say, you cannot make a car purely out of dye bond and little bits of alley and expanding foam. All of this has got to be gone over with, you know, fiberglass. Just like Ferraris used to be. Just like what this is really. So also a lot of today has been spent getting this bottom edge right. So the bottom edge should rise up slightly towards the front, go down towards the back and be a nice level edge. I've had to get this done because I'm going to lift this roof off again, and then once it's in the workshop we'll get it on some tables and then I can really work smoothing this out. But this has always got to be the bottom edge, and just to get that sort of datum point in was really, you know, quite important. And also when you look down this has quite a, it's quite good, but it's still got a bit of a wobbly line to it. So also I'll be able to straighten that into a nice smooth arc, because there is nothing on this vehicle that is in any way straight. Everything's got nice curves to it. Everything's like as if it was real and it had been designed and manufactured not by me, but by someone who's actually known as a designer. And now at the back, so like I say, this is just roughing out shapes, seeing what's going to be there, seeing you know, how I want it, and this is the start of the moulding down the back. So this piece will be covered in. We've got this, which was, and this is the top of a patio heater. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. So we've got that there as a bit of a continental kit sort of thing, and then we've got this, which is going to have like fluting going up onto the roof, but I haven't made any of that yet, so you'll just have to use your imagination. Also got the bumper, which you may remember from a few weeks ago, and nothing more has been done to that, but just to get the bumper on the back, just to get the feel of how the back of the vehicle is going to look, and that up to now is all I've done. But when you're building the entire body of a vehicle, you're literally designing a vehicle in the real world, like on the fly. Sometimes you've got to just put some bits of wood on, glue stuff together, stand back, have a look. And doing it like this, you know, if I threw it all away, I've only lost half a day, doesn't really matter, and you know, no great expense. But at the minute, it's going on pretty well, and I'm thinking almost everything I've done here is probably going to get covered in fibreglass, filled, and be part of the finished car. But we'll have to wait and see, because God damn, I changed my mind a lot. So, up to now, looking good. This is the roof of the meat wagon. So, it was actually on the van yesterday, and we've got everything so it fits nicely. And now what we've got to do is straighten out and strengthen what we've got, because what we've got here is the sort of shape that we're after, and this is all looking good. But if we look close, there's some pretty thin fiberglass knocking about, so we'll be going over that. And there's things like these running lights which still need sculpting in. They're just bits of soil pipe buy from the builder's merchant, and then we've got areas like this where, you know, we removed this whole shell from the plaster book, as it were. Now we need to bond this on, so we've got this sort of quite shabby edge down here, so we'll bond all that, bond all of these corners, and probably do this this top line of the roof here as well. And where there's a join in the roof, we're going to glass that. Basically just making what we've already done really strong, and so that it can sit on that van for many, many years, essentially just work well. I've DA'd off all of this aluminium. All this aluminium's now dull, and if it does need any fiberglass or filler, it'll key onto that very nicely. Around the bottom here, we have this piece of timber just here that we bonded on yesterday, and that will need to be glassed in. So what we're doing, we're looking to make a fillet between there and there, and once we've glassed that, that can all be filled. Looking at these parts, these are going to be running lights that set off the roof. What I need to do is sort of fade these in, so taper them back, and I'll be doing all that with filler. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that in filler, then glass over the filler, because then I get the glass nice and smooth over the filler, and in the correct shape, and it's just the easier way to do it. So I have the form underneath the filler, like I've got the form made there in a little bit of foam. But okay then, so I've put like a tail on this just to like blend it in, and it's not the best, but it just gives the fiberglass some sort of, you know, substance as it goes over there. And then, like I say, I will fill all of this. I'll fill over the fiberglass, but I like to think, you know, keep all the junk. This is junk, this is junk, all this junk. This is also junk, all junk. Keep that underneath the fiberglass. As long as all the junk is underneath the fiberglass, and it's, you know, obviously not made of like jelly or chocolate or something that's just going to, you know, cause problems later on. As long as it's all good waterproof stuff, that it can all sit in there forever. But it does provide just a great forming shape for the fiberglass. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to glass over all of this bit, all along the bottom bit there. So we're going to do this bit, we're going to go all along here, and we're going to do the length of that. And we're going to do that on both sides. And then everything will start to come together, start to get really strong. And also we can look at, actually bringing some sort of finish to this, because at the minute it's got a nice shape, but my God, it's rough. Okay then, so everything now is covered in quite a few layers of fiberglass mat and resin. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this dry, and then it's time for some Bondo. And I mean, when I say some, I mean loads and loads of Bondo. Alright then, so it's all looking pretty good. Getting plenty of filler on here. We've glassed all along this edge. I've started feathering that out, so this is all really strong now. And started putting this radius just here as well, so it don't just look like I've bent a piece of aluminium over. I'm well aware I just bent a piece of aluminium over, but little things like that to make it look a bit more manufactured than homemade. At the back, I was going to have a step around here, but I think I should be able to blend that in, so all this piece right up to the back is one piece. Obviously I'm going to add some seams on it with some rivets later on, just to make it look a bit more, within the style of the vehicle. But yeah, that's going pretty good. Round the other side, and round here very much the same. Although I've softened that edge just there and put that internal radius on that, which will run all the way down. Again, just makes it look more like it's a manufactured piece. Makes it look more like a real vehicle. The front though, we've still got roughed on filler. So this is all just roughed on, ready to be sanded and ready to get a really nice uniform shape in this. And it does seem like a lot of filler. But when you go in filler onto fiberglass, all that thing about thin filler that you have to do with steel, all that can go out the window. You can go as much as you want over fiberglass. So then, jobs for today. Sanding, filling, sanding, filling, sanding, filling, repeat until smooth. Couldn't be easier. So then, there's still a lot of sanding to be done on that roof, a lot of work. Got to get all those lines dialed in and then make it all look like it's made from riveted, beaten aluminium. It's going to be totally cool. But just for a minute, and just because, this is real world car building, and mistakes do happen. So, just for a split second, here's Mark 1. Okay, so that's it for this week. I'll be back next week with more workshop-based mayhem. Until then, don't forget, do the subscribe button, do the bell icon, do the comments, do the thumbs up, and thank you very much and good night.